digital workers in healthcare and life sciences, like really? Some say they could be a true savior of so many issues in multiple industries. Some people think they will hinder and take jobs away. So let's hear it from the experts. Please join me in welcoming Catherine Calarco, Senior Director at Global Industry Strategy for Life Sciences from Automation Anywhere, who's going to be leading this discussion.
Thank you, Jill. I really appreciate being here. I've been on this journey with you for 10 years, part of the Decade crew, so it's awesome to be here. And I want to introduce an amazing woman, Neeti Shukla, who is the co-founder and SVP for Automation Anywhere, and is one of the few women who is part of founding a unicorn company worth billions of dollars. So she's joined us today to share that journey with us, and we're going to be talking about how automation is transforming this world. And we want to enable people to live longer, feel better, and be able to transform health worldwide. Now, I know all of you are part of this. You've transformed the industry, you're part of the designing the future of healthcare. And it is the opportunity for us is that we are deciding and designing what that future looks like. And you might say, oh, digital workers, is that something new, or what is this? And in fact, 85% of the top pharma and biomed companies have implemented automation across their organization, across the value chain. So it is something that's being adopted by the leading organizations because they're identifying that those tools that they've used in the past are no longer effective in being able to reduce cost and improve value. And this is some data, just to give you some context, that AI-powered automation across sectors is increasing customer experience by 50%. It is reducing costs by 30%. And what's amazing is that you get the time to value is much faster. You can implement this in less than 3 months and get an ROI in less than 12. And this is validated by the Everest Group, as well as other analyst groups out there doing case studies on what automation is doing for people. So the lovely thing about the Everest Group is the Everest Group has identified automation as one of the top solutions to meet the industry challenges. And so this is a tool set to enable you to deliver to market faster, to be able to automate things like complaint handling or call centers. We see a lot of work in finance and also in terms of commercial with sales and marketing. So just giving you a context, a framework of it, and I really want us to talk a little bit about what is a digital worker. So Neeti, tell us a little bit about the impact and what is a digital worker and what can we see from it for the future of this industry?
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind introduction, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Let's start with the problem statement. Automation is not new. It's been here for a while. But for the last 20 or 30 years, the automation that we've seen has a big gap between what can be automated and what has been automated. And if you look at any typical organization today, a lot of us use so many different applications within the organization, anywhere between 50 to 2,000 in the technology stack. And there's data that's moving across all these applications in different forms and fashion. And yet, we've only automated only 20% of what can be automated. We fill that gap that we have using manual labor, which is really not effective in many, many different ways. What has changed in automation in this last few years is that we have something called the digital worker, which is a combination of very many technologies, including robotic process automation, RPA, AI, ML, and other cognitive technologies, as well as real-time analytics. And this digital worker helps us bridge that gap which we were filling with manual workers. Now, with the advent of this technology and the application of this technology, we see already in different industries, including healthcare, that gap being bridged to another 40 to 60%. So think about it now, with 20% automated in these last couple decades that we've had of automation, really, we have been able to increase lifespans. We've been able to get many more pharmaceuticals into the healthcare industry, and we've landed on the moon. Imagine now that we automate the other 40%. What will we unleash? What will the creativity, what will the knowledge work, what will the freedom of not doing repetitive work bring to the human workforce? And what will they bring to healthcare and life sciences? That's what's exciting by using this new technology in healthcare and life sciences. Now, everyone else in the world and every system in the world, if we were to automate, we'd basically get to an 80% level of automation, and that would be even better, but I think that's a little bit more of a long-term goal. So let me talk about the business impact of what this means. So as a healthcare organization or a life science organization, let's say you had 5,000 people and no bots, no digital workers, and it cost you about $75 million in order to do 10 million transactions. Let's say it could be 10 million account openings or 10 million insurance claims that you're handling or any such data, right? Now, what will the digital workforce bring? The digital workforce will allow you to do about, this is an average, of course, 3,500 human workers with 500 bots, reduce your cost to 50 million, but produce 3 times the capacity of what you were able to beforehand. So you could deliver that many new accounts as faster, or you could file claims that faster, or complete any administrative work that much faster. 3 times capacity in the same time period at a reduced cost. And this, what it results in at the ultimate, is improved customer experience. Whether your customer is a doctor, a hospital, a patient, it doesn't matter. The end result is that improved experience. I'll also break it down from another angle. You might ask, what kind of processes do these technologies basically handle? Now, any industry, any vertical, healthcare or otherwise, most processes follow this typical flow chart that you see right now. You capture data, then you enrich the data, you validate it, then you apply some business logic to it, which is the actual process, then you reconcile the data, and then you analyze and report it. The digital worker allows you to basically use robotic process automation for business rules. It allows you to bring cognitive, AI, and machine learning tools in order to do a little bit more intelligent automation. And it allows for real-time analytics. Now, this is really important because think about it. Let's say we are at a football match. The coach gets data live at real time and makes plays using that data at that moment. But in business, we think it's okay to generate a report at the end of the month and use that data to make decisions or implementations or strategies. It's already 30 days too late. We can do much better than that. And nowhere is it more important than in healthcare, in my opinion. So these technologies combined is what we call the digital workforce. And that allows you to automate any or part of any process. Small bits, bigger bits, end-to-end, it doesn't matter. And that is what has democratized automation. That is what has made it that easy to use. And that is why this is changing the industry completely. So what are the overall benefits? The benefits, of course, are labor cost savings. Everybody talks about it. We're always under pressure from budgets. But most important, again, in healthcare, is the 100% accuracy and faster processing. It's error-free. We have customers with 0 errors using RPA and digital workers. And again, nowhere is it more imperative than in healthcare. The fact that you can have data transferred between systems, you can have verifications, you can have processes being implemented with 0 errors, with 100% accuracy, is a game changer for you, the business, the industry, and society as a whole. Flexible and scalable workforce, the fact that you can deliver anything that has to be delivered 24/7 by 365 is very important. Again, we live in a very global economy. Services are global, and that time helps. Improved compliance controls and auditability. Again, in healthcare, we're all very aware of the stringent requirements of compliance, audit logs, and all of this is automated. The fact that you use bots to do your processes means there is a digital trail of everything that you have done. And that aids compliance and auditability to a really, really large extent, as seen never before. Again, we have real-time analytics and business intelligence. And most important of all, and I really want to stress this point, is the happiness of the employees. You know, human workers were not meant to do repetitive, mundane work. We were not put on Earth to transfer data between 10 systems. This is not the X factor we bring to the table. Just look at the intelligence, just the conversations before this, we were talking about empathy and all the human traits that we bring to the table. That's what we're really good at. The knowledge work, you know, the thinking outside of the box, really, bringing those products and services to life that we could never have thought of before. And that means that the repetitive and mundane has to go away from the workforce so that they're free to do these new things, free to do these things that they're really, really human and good at. And that leads to happiness. And for me, that's one of the key drivers of technology, because technology has only one purpose, and that is human enablement. So I wanted to just bring to two quick case studies, just kind of to give you an understanding of how it's being implemented currently in the industry. And of course, there's plenty of other examples, and you can look them up after. But let's start here. Boston Scientific had a vision to deliver an improved patient care using technology. And so they had this vision of making sure what could we automate and what can we automate in order to meet that ultimate goal of patient care or better patient care. And this is the impact, as you can see, that they had. You know, great ROI, fantastic savings, the FTE savings that they had was just unprecedented. Yet another example, Becton Dickinson. They saved $7 million, and this, we're talking about less than a year's time frame. 220 digital workers, 220 bot runners in production, with another 150 going to be delivered very, very soon. And you can see the patient care, the customer experience, the job satisfaction, all these you know, KPIs really that they were monitoring were on the rise, which is absolutely fantastic for them as a company, but validates that automation is for the technology stack is an imperative for your competitive edge in your industry in what you deliver.
That's phenomenal. I mean, it sounds like it can do everything but make, you know, cappuccino for us. And I think, you know, we were talking about the value. The value of this is important in terms of creating innovation. Sure. You can see how this delivers impact for organizations, and it is sort of the practical side of AI. It really is doing the boring or the very manual work. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the other side of it. You know, what impact is it impacting jobs? I mean, are you seeing, is this really going to take jobs away? I mean, what's the impact on workers themselves?
So let me start by saying, just like any other major disruption, think of all the other industrial revolutions we have been under. You know, any major disruption that is going to affect society or every human being in any vertical, any industry, and how they work will cause a certain level of reskilling. It's not something that was just, you know, swept under the rug. It's not something that we don't look at. Yes, there will be a certain level of reskilling required, but there will also be a lot of the human workforce that is now free from the repetitive and mundane. This is not the work that they had signed up for, really. This is not the work that the organization had brought them on board for, but they're stuck doing the repetitive and mundane. So that definitely will go away, and you will see more knowledge work come out of the human workforce that you have in your organizations. But yes, there are certain jobs that will no longer be as relevant because we are able to automate using these intelligent automation technologies. But that, in my opinion, if the end goal is the right goal and is a good goal, then it is something we have to work with the segments that are being disrupted and bring them with us. So think about it, when the telephone became mainstream, there was a whole plethora of jobs of people working in telephone exchanges, just connecting. You remember how they used to just connect the plugs from one plug to another in order to connect people over the telephone line. Now, in my opinion, that's not the best use of human labor, really, or human intellect in any form or fashion. Yes, it did pay the bills. It did help, create a certain level of wealth. But it's a job that's gone, and I'm pretty sure most people don't miss it. So there will be some jobs like that are extremely repetitive and mundane that will no longer exist. But the fact that we can automate so much more and create so many new products and services, especially in healthcare and life sciences, think of the different products and services that will come out. That means there's that many more jobs. There's that many jobs that we have never even thought about. There are that many more jobs in automation, but there are that many more jobs in things that or customer service, or services that we haven't even imagined really at this point. So just like other revolutions, I think, change comes at a cost, a little bit of a cost. We can learn from history. We can deal with it better. We can help retrain our workforce. Again, the digital workforce and RPA technologies are democratized. That means there's not a steep learning curve. You don't need to have a 2-year degree in order to learn how to make software robots. You can get master certified in 3 months or less. That is true democratization. Again, in a couple of conversations today, we heard about how people needed to be easy to use technology. And this is one of those technologies that is that easy to use. You do not have to be an engineer. You do not have to be a developer to use it. And that's why it's a game changer. That's why it's being used by that many industries and that many. So yes, it's going to happen, but we'll deal with it well. And hopefully it will create a lot more value, a lot more wealth than the disruption that it causes.
It seems like what leaders and organizations are having to deal with is to strategically think about the impact of doing this and the change associated with the change management, but also be able to understand the value. And at a medical device company, there was biochemists and molecular biologists that were doing input work, basically, and they were bored. And they said, we want to do science, not this manual transfer of information in a complaint handling form. So they were very excited about being part of this evolution of their organization, and they learned to be bot builders to go and solve the problems that the complaints were creating in the first place.
Correct.
So I totally understand that. It makes a lot of sense. But what is the global impact of this, and how are leaders need to address this?
So we must solve the problems of our time. And I think this is one of those technologies that will enable humans to solve the problems of our time. We've created this enormous sets of data. We have so much of information now, so many systems that we use in order to use that information to create products and services. And so I think from a global impact perspective, it's the human-bot partnership. We believe the future of work is that humans have to be enabled by these digital workers, by these bots. It's a tool set that you carry with you. As a knowledge worker, when you come into an organization or a job, you come in with the bots that will help you do your best work. And that's what's the future of work, in my opinion. How can we get to that next level of everything that we offer as society, whether it's even better healthcare, or better time to market of new drugs, or better medical systems or medical devices being delivered faster when they're needed, or drugs being delivered faster to areas of need. All of this can be touched by technology and can make healthcare and life sciences even better at what they do, and how they do it, really. I mean, healthcare and life sciences, in my opinion, better human life. Yeah. That's what you guys bring to the table. And the fact that this technology will help in some small way to aid that large cause is just super exciting, but it's a reason why we come to work every day.
So to talk to that, how did you get into this? What was sort of your, the purpose of that you brought this forward? How did you see it, and what was the evolution for you?
I mean, I think it's just, technology, as I mentioned, for me is all about human enablement. That's how we've always approached it. Automation has been there. It has helped society for very many years now. And the fact that this technology brings that automation to every human, to every worker, the fact that today, how many of us from a professional angle could work without a computer or a laptop? That's what we see this digital worker becoming. Every human will know how to make his own bots or her own bots, bring that to work so that they can do their best work. And that's kind of, I mean, we see the tagline up there, go be great. And that's the concept in Automation Anywhere, that let's make the humans good at what they really are good at. How can we enable them to be the best they can be? And that's what's the purpose of technology. So I'm really excited for this industry. I'm really excited what it will do to healthcare, what I will see in healthcare in my lifetime, and then my children in their lifetime, and so forth. And hopefully we leave the world a better place than we came into it.
So try to build a bot yourself. You can actually do it, and we'd love to connect with you. If you want to get a copy of the Everest Report or anything, let us know. But I thank you, Neeti, for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
It's a great honor to be on stage with you, and thank you so much, Jill.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.